Hey, Coach. It's so
Val
good to
the
see you.
Voice. How you
I
doing today?
know. I'm doing wonderful. I'm blessed and highly favored. I'm blessed and highly favored. It's wonderful, wonderful. We're coming to the end of the month of October. Where did
Oh,
the month
Val,
go?
it's like Halloween ain't even got here and they got Christmas trees up. What's wrong with
I,
these people?
it's too soon. Everything is too soon right now, but it's okay. I am doing my thing. I'm going to be all right cuz I was a little nervous when I saw the Christmas tree when I went to the home of the deep hole and I was like this is too much, but it's all good because
Now,
it
the
is.
crazy part about it while you was there, in my home to the depot, they got
Mhm.
hell to the wing over here. And across from the hell to the wing, they got Chris to the Muss over here. So I'm like, they don't even give you a chance to, the kids going over here, they screaming, ah, ooh, can I get that little reindeer? Ah, ooh, look at Santa Claus. Come on, man, you're confusing the kid. You're confusing the babies.
No, we can't confuse the babies, but I'm all I know is that I am trying to get to some fun stuff that we're going to be talking about on today. It is another edition of Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays. We're back, we're black, and we're here right now. It's another edition of Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays. We are back, and of course, Key Spot's one of our affiliate sponsors. Connect, share, and grow for small businesses. We have a monthly meetup every third Thursday of the month, and of course, it's always a fun time with Key Spot. Get discovered on the app today, and of course, a DJ saved my life. It is the ebook by your girl Val the Voice Johnson. It's the memoir. It's about how music gave your girl a purpose and a voice during a dark time of the pandemic. Scan the QR code or please visit purelightHousemedia.net and pick up that and merch, which I'll show a little bit later. There is merch, which I'm all excited to see. And of course, Interludes Extra presents or Find Your Voice. It is our Patreon website. We have some behind the scenes. I'm starting to upload some of the stuff that I shot of you, Coach Tony, on our Patreon place. So come join us there. It's kind of the behind the scenes of what happens here with Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays, and of course the Pull Up Podcast show on Mondays with our very own Coach Tony. It's Coach Tony in the building. How you doing, Coach?
Man, we're in
Woo!
the building. I'm ready for this night. I'm ready for this night like winter time's already about to come around the corner.
I need you to stop saying winter time. It's we're in transition. It's a
Hey,
transition
we
period.
just talked about how Christmas and Halloween is mixed. We're gonna put winter on backside of fall. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's how it is. But I'm hoping winter takes its time. I heard some bad news this morning, Val.
Okay, well, but wait, before you get to the bad news, let me see what's happening in the in the chat. It is our very own Mr. Springer. Thank you so very much. He's just doing the follow-up, which I always appreciate. And of course, find your voice at patreon.com. Okay. I feel like the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz or The Wiz. Don't nobody bring me no bad news, but what is the bad news that you got? Let's talk about this for a second. What you
So
what you talking about?
the meteorologist stated today, and I guess it's hearsay, right? Because we don't know if it's true
Mm.
yet. But like that little fuzzy creature animal that run around at the end of winter to try to tell us when we got 4, 5, or 6 more weeks of winter. They
Uh-huh.
said and I don't know if you knew this or not, because I didn't. We are entering in an El Nino winter this year, which means that winter could be awfully bad and long, is what it said today. And the reason why is because of so many hurricanes have been stirring up. They still got multiple hurricanes still in the Gulf, and we are in the middle of fall right now, and it is going pretty late into hurricane season.
Well, I know for one thing, we here in the Midwest have experienced a drought. It has been extremely unseasonably warm. No argument with that, but all I
Right.
know is that it's just a little warm. It's okay. Like today it got up to 76 degrees. Yeah.
Wow.
Unusual for this late in October. Unusual,
Well,
but it
I
is.
needed to stay that way until I, get there and get back. That's what I needed to do.
Yeah, so I'm excited like that. Now, this past weekend for myself was a little quiet. I don't know about you, but I was intrigued by some things that happened online. So I was like, it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but I'll get to that in a moment. But of course, we've been keeping up with things that's been happening in, Diddy news and all the rest of that type of stuff. No, we're not going to talk about him tonight. Any nights I can avoid that could be the thing. But of course, I wanted to talk, and this was the recommendation from not Mr. Springer, but also Coach Tony. So I'll say Coach, there you go. Now, of course, I got a love for Power. I got a love for the entire Power universe. I got a chance to finish up Power Book 2, all 4 seasons on Stars. I'm all excited. And of course, I'm going to jump back in and find out what Tommy is doing with Power Force. Like, yeah. But of course, 50 Cent's created this universe exactly 10 years ago. And then there's other shows, but then there's a show that's actually based on a real life situation that's happened. And that is this show right here called BMF, Black
Mafia
Family. Now, how many people that's listening have seen the show? Put it in the chat. Let us know. Put it in the chat and let us know. Coach,
Well, Val,
this has been around for 3 seasons. What's going on?
3 seasons. This is the 4th season getting ready to begin. But before we start, for those that got an opportunity to listen to Val and I last night on the NBA and the WNBA, thank you guys. We had a tremendous show. Had a lot of people, Val, that called me back. And the reason why I want to stop real quick before we jump into BMF is, Val, I don't know if you know, but this news was breaking news today. The WNBA, all women under the union today, created a brand new commercial, and they are walking out on a stoppage, Val, for underpay. And they made a commercial, and it simply says, "We're out." And they will have a negotiation season into this winter, into next year. And the contract is physically up with the league at the end of the next season. And they made a quick commercial, said that if everything doesn't get straightened out, the WNBA is physically walking out of the WNBA at the end of next season. So pay them women. And here's the reason why. You and I, Val, talked about Clara and Joe Tassi yesterday, yesterday, about the owners of the Liberty. Well, how about this? How about they were able to show multiple WNBA teams that were purchased less than $500,000, some of them. And most of those teams are now worth $200, $300, and $400 million. So you tell me how you like that on your return on your investment.
Well, you know what? This makes sense. And with all of the hoopla over what has happened with the win in New York, if the women are still making, I want to say, well under what the bench person is making on the NBA.
Who ain't getting
We
no
gotta
playing time.
change it. Like the person on the bench is making more money than the star rookie
Hey, Val,
or
and
rookie
he on the
veteran.
bench. He on the bench chilling. He ain't even playing.
So Kevin Springer says, as the WNBA historic season comes to an end, players say it's time for higher pay.
Exactly right.
Pay
Pay these women. Get these women. They don't need to prove anything. They proved it the last 24 months by showing that the attendance and the viewership has surpassed the men. Pay these women,
Right.
man.
Yeah,
And speaking of,
I need to actually find this commercial that you're talking about. That
oh,
they
the
just
commercial
was
is
it
so
released on
quick. You just,
ESPN? Where was it released?
yeah, go to YouTube and it's just gonna say type in "We're out" WNBA, and that's all it says. It is so powerful. It's one woman on the front and one on the end. They say, you know something, we're out. That was just dope. And it's like
Wow.
straight to the point. There's no messing around. There's no this. There's no that. We're out because if you can't pay us what we're worth, then we out.
Mm-hmm. So,
And you
well,
know,
anyway,
a lot of people don't even like the NBA, right? I don't know why. That makes me laugh when you get people talking about they don't like the NBA when if they got athletes, they want their sons or whatever to be in the NFL or the NBA, which makes me laugh. But you know, the WNBA said we've had enough. Uh, the salaries from what Jonquil Jones got wasn't even the taxes for the NBA player who won MVP of last year's finals. If you took his taxes was more money paid out in taxes than she got for her entire check before taxes.
yeah, that's crazy. Wow. Yeah, I'm looking for the video and I'm not seeing it. Is it a um
There it is. Kevin
yeah,
got it right there.
I don't see this video that you're saying that they have. I don't see it.
Yeah, I think Springer got right there the commercial right there. He just put the link in next to it. I think
Okay.
Springer might have the link. You know,
Okay.
and see if
All
that'll
right.
come up.
So what we're gonna
But
do, because let me do this real quick. You got to give me a heads up when you want to do breaking news so I can be prepared with these situations. We're gonna go to the BMF because that's what I was prepared to talk about right now. So we're gonna do that right now. There it is. Praise the
yeah,
Lord. And I'm gonna do some research on the back end while you let people know. Now, Kevin was saying before this breaking news on the WNBA. Oh my goodness. He said that he has seen three seasons so far. So
it's okay.
they've done 3 seasons since 2021, right?
Yeah, exactly right. When he released it. And here's the cool part about it. For all y'all that's on the show listening to us that are especially old heads, then you gotta know that this BMF is tight to the pants because it not only talk about these two brothers who came out the D, but it ties it right into Freaknik. And for some of y'all may not want to say y'all was up in there, but I know I got a chance to, kick it out of Freaknik several times. But it was during the time that Freaknik caught a couple of us old heads down there in the A. But this episode, and I love how 50 does it, Val. He says, this is a true story, but some of the things in the story have been changed around. But the shit's true. Like basically, hey, it's been changed, but it's true. We're gonna ride out. So you got these two brothers that are coming out of inner city in Detroit in the 80s. And they just didn't want to work. And Big Meech, at that time, before he was even called Big Meech, he was just called Meech, was one of those dropout kids. And he was one of those kids in season 1 that was very deflammatory towards his mom, his dad. He was a hard head. He wanted to ride the streets, and that's what he did. And Terry was basically your straight A, let's go to school, get good grades, valedictorian type of kid, and that's where he at. Two totally opposite end of the spectrum as brothers. And Dimitri, Big Meech, is played by his actual son, Val, which is in real life, was actually headed down that exact path. And thanks to 50, said, hey, listen, man, let me change your life on something I'm about to do. I'm about to come out with a series about your family. And who else to best play the part but the son? Why? Because you not
Yeah.
only can help me out with the movie, you lived it. You were there. You were right there.
Right.
And so,
So the
Demetrius
young man, so the
Flannery
young man
Jr.
that
plays
we
his
see,
dad.
so the two actors that we see in this is Demetrius Flannery,
Flannery.
Flannery Jr., and that
To the left.
is Demetrius Meach. He's playing his dad, and then an actor I've been following since Blackish. This is Da
Yeah.
Vinci,
Da Vinci,
and
yes.
he plays Terry, Southwest T.
Southwest T and his heels.
So, like I said, this is to me, this is power on steroids because this is based on reality, which is really, really, really exciting. And of course, 50 is kind of the mastermind behind this. But let me give you a heads up: the person that created this is Randy Huggins. He's the showrunner behind everything. So, what more did you want to say about this?
Oh no, I'm just saying, again, on the setup as Kevin was talking about in season 3, I got to make everybody understand before we get to where we're going to go. So in that first season, you got a rebellious brother, you got a kid that's at school in Southwest T, you got a dad that's working multiple jobs as an auto worker, mechanic, whatever he can do, and mom, she just basically worked wherever she could in the church, Burger King, things around the house, and then his sister, of all people, Nicole, sister, who's also played by Layla Pruitt. So Big Meech has an idea in season 1 that he can connect with the local gangs in Detroit. But instead of being a banger, he wanted to figure out how to tie all the gang members in Detroit during the early 80s at that time together so that instead of them having to kill each other or shoot one another, how everybody could make money and still work within their geographical territories. And no one came up anybody's line. Obviously, we working with street cast, Val, so that didn't work too well with a few. And we had a lot of stuff that went on. Then you had this crooked cop, Detective Bryant, which you know him as well, Steve Harris. He's played in a lot of black movies from Spike Lee to a matter of fact, he was the one that played in the Tyler Perry joint where he beat his wife.
Steve Harris is from Chicago. Let me get to his picture real quick. I didn't know you were going to jump.
I ain't liked him since the Tyler Perry movie when he jumped on this woman. I was glad she beat him down and he ended up being what he was in that. But so he's got a son that's super duper smart. He's an artist. He likes to draw and all of that stuff. But because of the Detective Bryant getting caught up in all this gangster stuff and want to get some side paper, he gets his son in trouble. And his son goes down over a murder that happened because he had a weapon on him. So they arrest him, Val, and going into season 2 and put him in jail. And then everything hits the fan. Everything hits the fan.
I'm a fan of Russell Hornsby. Now he is, I think, portraying the dad.
Right.
Yeah. He's doing a great job as the dad. Now, who plays the mom?
The mom is played by Michelle White. She plays Lucille Flannery.
There you go. There you go. So this is kind of the parents. I'm glad that you see the parents that's kind of there with them at the beginning. But of course, this is a phenomenal cast.
Typical hood parents. Mom is at the house, dad hitting the streets, doing his thing, trying to still be young and a pimp, behind the scenes and get caught up because it's both his boys in the streets. So when you're in the streets and you're in the streets, the streets going to bring you to one another. And unfortunately, it brought the dad and the son on a bad situation. And, and Big Meech saw his dad was out there, basically just, in the words of Houdini, because I'm a hoe, I'm a hoe. I want 3 different chicks after every show because I'm a hoe, I'm a hoe. So y'all don't know that song, y'all better go get that album, Houdini.
So do you remember the Jamie Foxx show?
Yes.
You recognize this actor?
Yes. Yes.
It's Christopher B. Duncan.
Heart the Brick. That's Heart the Brick.
Well, in the BMF series, he portrays Frank Blaze Andreas. Yeah. And I
Right.
think
So
the
he
latest season, the third season of BMF. How is he? Is
correct.
he pretty brr?
Again, it's hard to take for me. It's hard to take Hard to Break serious. When I know he's a Jamie. No, you cut that out. But it's hard to take him serious.
What did
But
Jamie used to do?
James, you know, but he's playing a nice gangster role because his daughter, tries to be the gangster that's taking over. She wants to take over the set, but she's too hardcore with it. And, she's
Mhm.
gay, and the dad can't accept that because he only had a daughter, not a son. But she wants to play that role and she wants to get out into everything, but she's killing everybody and he's having to get her out of trouble. And then it just comes down to the two of them, where now you got dad and daughter beefing with one another and somebody got to go.
Oh my gosh. Do you know her name on the show? His daughter's
Uh,
name on the show?
God dog, what's his daughter's name on the show? I think it's Monique.
Oh, it's Monique?
I think
Okay.
I got to look that up. That's the one that slipped me right there. I think it's Monique Val, I'm not sure. I got to look that up.
Is is this the actress that portrays his daughter?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, because I this was something when the show premiered, the season 3 premiered earlier this year. They had all of the stars come out, and of course, this is Christopher B. Duncan and this actress here. And I'm
Okay.
trying to look her up.
Yeah, look that up. But in the meanwhile, while you're looking that up,
Mhm.
so she becomes this big gangster, and then at the time, there's so many other gangsters that the way the story goes. And I actually got a chance to, but outside of this, if you have not seen the BMF documentary, I highly recommend go to Netflix and punch in, or go to Prime and punch in BMF documentary. Tells a whole different story. The nights everything happened. So what I was doing, Val, I was going to watch the documentary, and then I was
Mhm.
watching the series on Friday, Saturday night to see how close it was. And 50 did a hell of a job, from the gangster that was chasing Meacham around town, trying to kill him, and that drug, once the drugs hit in that late 80s, you know how that was coming through Chicago as well. It just took the city by storm. That mid 80s, 85, 86, 87 in Chicago, I remember when they brought the National Guards in down on the south side of 47th Street and cleared out the L. Wilkins and Jeff Fort, at that time. And then at that time, because Chicago's drugs was being cleaned up, everybody pushed everything across Lake Michigan, and the Flannery boys were able to bounce back because of that. So they got an opportunity to have a direct contact, or connect, as they called it, to the cartel. And these two Mexican brothers was coming in out of the country and made Meach and Terry the man. Everything had to go for between them because they found a way to be the middleman from all these drug pushes, and no one was getting killed. Everybody was making money.
Wow. Okay.
Now,
Wow.
let me tell you something that's funny, how true this, how crazy this is.
Mhm.
So now as we get into season 3, Meach decides, something, mom and dad's getting divorced. Things are kind of going away. Mom's old high school love flame came back. He's a doctor trying to scoop her back up and everything. And now Meach is just tired of being in the D. So he said, let me bounce out. He's running from the law. So he go down to the A. For those that don't know, that's Atlanta. So he go down to the A and he sets up shop. Now, I remember it was probably 92, 93 when all this stuff was coming through, because I got a relative here or there that kind of got mixed up with them out of the Alabama set. And I remember going down to Freaknik, and we was in town one night, and we, went to this hotel, saw these boys. They had on like the BMF shirts. I thought it was like an entertainment group or something, because at that time, they had T.I. rolling with them. They had Outkast and Big Boy. They had
Wow.
Scrappy. They had Goody Mob. They had yeah, I can go on and on. The Atlanta sound that was coming up 93, 94, 95, they were all connected through BMF, and they were going to Chocolate City, Magic City rather, and all that. in Atlanta. That's a strip club for those that don't know as well. Not saying, that's a strip club. But we were going down to kick it in at Freaknik, and we were bumping into these BMF guys with shirts, had no idea that this fast forward 30 years later would be the scenario. And we just thought it once again, because we were just kicking it. We was young, that was just one of those things and whatnot. And now, 30 years fast forward, that we were actually in a situation that didn't know would make history.
Wow. But I'm blown away by this. And it, Patrick in the audience says that Big Meech will probably make a cameo probably in the 4th season, because the 4th season did get approved and will be starting, I think, sometime first quarter of 2025.
It'll come after Tommy's Force. 50 does a good situation. He goes from Power to Tommy to BMF back to Power. And so, to Raising Canaan. So it'll be in that situation how it is. And another, this is funny, the crazy part about that as well, Val, what he was just talking about is that in the way that was laid out as well, it caused those brothers to then start feuding with one another. And Terry eventually got out of the D and he went to the West Coast to LA. And they basically had BMF, but 2 different factions of BMF.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much. Kevin said that's Henrietta.
Henrietta. Yeah. Henrietta. Yes, Henrietta.
Okay. Yeah. Henrietta. So let me get the actress's name, because all I have to do is look. Okay, so that is Ren King. That's the actress's name, Ren King. Wow.
And so
this is kind of what was that?
She plays a super thug.
Wow. Okay. Well, she's killing it. And here's the thing. She literally she's just starting out. Literally just starting out. BMF is probably her 3rd credit. So she's just starting out. So probably if they continue to have good chemistry as father-daughter situation and kind of that thing, this is something I would be interested in seeing. And they get introduced in the 3rd season of BMF. Christopher Duncan and this wonderful actress. I want to make sure I got her name right. Ren King. Yep.
Well, you ain't got to worry about Ren King, because Terry and Meech took her out. So you ain't got to worry.
Oh, man. Don't tell me about it.
Like I told about my man to them, you got to read the book.
And I like here, now we're showing some of the other stars of the show as well. I like how Keisha gets killed off of Power, and then she shows up here in the BMF world.
and
that would be Lala Anthony.
Breaking news today about Lala Anthony, and I like how she did it. She posted something today on Twitter, and she kind of asked her family how did they feel about her role in BMF, because Val, she bucket naked.
Again?
Oh, a lot of scenes. I was like this. Hey, somebody passed me.
She's no longer married to she's not married anymore, so I don't know.
Hey, I was like, whether she married or not, that was a hell of a payback. And I was like, somebody give me them binoculars.
You are terrible. You are terrible. Hey, Miss says, Coach Tony, jack of all trades, amount of knowledge he has.
Man, Steph already knows. She already knows. And the crazy part about it is that Terry, in my personal opinion, because Layla Anthony is trying to settle him down, trying to get him out of what's going on with his baby mama, LaWanda, who is played by Sydney Mitchell. And they're going back and forth about this and that. And the baby mama moves in with the mom and daddy to the house, even though Terry moves out and gets a place with Layla Anthony.
Wow.
Hey,
oh my goodness.
That's true pimping. That's just true pimping. I'm just saying.
And Snoop Dogg is in the series in the first season. How did he do?
Hey, let me tell you something. You missing two people. Snoop is in here, and your girl Monique. Monique plays the hustler
Mhm.
from the ATL. She thug with it. She came back kind of hard. But Snoop, I like him because he one of them in the hood, South Side, West Side of Chicago, funeral home directors that's gonna take a cut. Well, we already know what we're talking about. I can't name no names of the funeral homes that take a cut in the city because they may
Please,
know me.
please don't do that. But then, of course, now let's talk about, because what prompted us talking about BMF is what happened in real life, what happened recently. Big Meech has been released from prison, and now he's
Right.
going to be in home confinement. Why do you
Yeah.
think he was released right now? I'm
Well,
curious. What do you think?
again, Val, so let's rewind this tape again for everybody. Stay on top of everything. So when the last season in season 3, as they get to the end, they haven't fully arrested him yet and found everything out because they went down to Atlanta, shot Atlanta up like they did the D. So all you got to do is have a couple shootouts. You got your name in the map. Once you get your name with the feds, that's a different ball game, right? Because Fed time and
Mhm.
that's totally different. But the crazy part about it was when Big Meech, and he was found guilty, he and Terry and all that, and went to prison, was found to do a 25-year bid from early 2000, supposed to be getting out in 30. So because of good behavior, from what they say, he's being let out early to a halfway house, a safe home, for probably the next 5 years on probation. But he doesn't have murder charges linked to him. He has drug possession and he has racketeering and trafficking. So
Okay.
those are RICO
Okay.
charges. So RICO charges is a little different. So for those that know a little bit, so without him being put in prison for murder, he's put in prison for trafficking and racketeering. So that's completely different. They weren't able to pin any of the murders on because no one's going to say. And it said even though he comes out, supposedly he's coming out to a somewhere between $500 and $750,000 book deal and over $1 million movie deal when he gets out. Even though 50 Cent just won a lawsuit from some idiot tried to sue him for $100 million on this story.
Wow. Yeah, that's it. A lot of people were coming, kind of some folks were coming after 50 regarding this because here's the thing with him being all of this background, all of him being convicted. I think what makes the series BMF so like you're into it because it's based on what really happened. And some of it is,
Yes,
some of the things have probably been changed just to, kind of fit
sure, sure.
some of the story that happens. But according to TMZ, um, Big Meech had a projected release date of January 27th, 2026,
Correct,
according to the Federal Bureau of Prisons.
correct,
But now he's going to be coming back. And they said he was arrested back in 2005. And then
correct.
2008, he was sentenced to 30 years, just what you just
So,
said.
correct.
So here's the thing. So he's going to be at a halfway house, and they
Yep,
said he's going to serve out the remainder of his sentence
correct.
before his supervised release kicks in. But I'm wondering, will he be? And someone said it just in the chat. 50 Cents will probably get this to happen. Where I think Patrick said, I think 50 can make that happen. Where he said that Big Meech will probably make a cameo watch or will be around or something because his son is in it, so that's fun. But yeah.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think
I go back
interesting.
to your first comment, and I
Mhm.
think he's spot on. That's what got me, and probably sure like a lot of people. It captured me on a couple of things that I know what I was doing in the '90s. I know way back before those cameras and securities and this. I remember going to Freaknik Val, and we getting stopped on 85, 75 South, coming through Smyrna, going down to North Atlanta, going down
Mhm.
285 and getting stuck just trying to get down to Peachtree and everything else. And the traffic was so ridiculous. People out, cars stopped on the interstate, partying like it was nothing. So to see a movie talk about a time that you physically was there, it's no different than if I start talking to you about the Bulls' first championship and the party that happened in Grant Park. You were there, so you could kind of relate to that. So when this came out, I was like, wow. But then to see the groups, the house music, the juke, Detroit had that juke music, boom, 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 had that juke out. To see them, the DJs, to see the things they were talking about. Larry Levine, the biggest house DJs of all coming out of Detroit at that time. And then to see them fast forward, and you have got everybody, including Puffy, was at the time down in Atlanta with these guys. And you see BMF, they literally were so bold that they were being investigated, Val, that they took a billboard sign right out in front of the Federal Bureau of Investigation's office that said Black Mafia Family. And they put the billboard right across the street in front of the FBI's office. That's how bold these cats was. And one of my homegirls I'm cool with, she just told me a few weeks ago where she lives at in Atlanta, as you drive through Buckhead on the other side where all the rich people at, kind of a lot of brothers and sisters, that there was one white house, curly white. And during the time in that late 80s, early 90s, no one was ever there. And she said they used to pass by there all the time because she worked at this company right around the corner. And later on, when the movie came out and the drug bust came out, they came to find out that that's where Terry and Big Meech, they called it the headquarters. And in the movie, they talk about the headquarters and they show this house. But this house was in the middle of $1 million mansion house. We're talking about $1 million house in 1992, 93. So imagine what it's worth today. And all they had in the house was cocaine. And everything was from everything that the cartel sent over was packed at the headquarters. And they would go to this rich neighborhood and deal from there and go from there. And no one picked it up because they were in a rich, super duper rich, not many of us, neighborhood. So these boys wasn't dumb. They were smart in everything they did. They, in season 3, for example, they solicited a car mechanic who at that point gutted out a car and put a special way to open up the glove compartment, the side of the door, and they would pack cocaine across the whole car, Val. And in order for you to open up the glove box, you got to turn the left signal on, you got to let the right window down, you got to blow the horn 2 times and start the car up, right? And it has to be done in that order. If it wasn't done in that order, the glove compartment wouldn't open. And then the car itself, it looked like a car, but it was completely of a steel case with coke. It was basically a coke submarine. So if you're not watching BMF, I'm just highly tell you, go back and watch it. It's something I think that you're going to be completely amazed with. I love what 50 did it. And if you get the chance, watch Val, the BMF documentary that ties everything together. And in the documentary, it's the real Southwest Terry and Meech. It's not the actors. It's the real people from the tape that they have in the documentary. The real people.
All right. So as we said earlier, the fourth season is going to be released on early part of 2025. That's on Stars, but this is the first 3 seasons. This is the covers from the first 3 seasons of BMF. I'll check it out. I'm looking for it on my streaming situation. And
I got a question for you too, Val.
Yeah, well, I'm getting ready to wrap it up, but like I said, I will definitely check out the documentary first before checking out the series, because like I said, I tried to watch it, and I'm fascinated with it because I know this is 50, and I had such an affinity toward Power, which was all fictionalized. BMF is totally different. So we're wrapping up. So what did you want to ask me before we go?
So my question to you is, which rapper made his most money off of this in Big Meech's name, and that became a situation where he and 50 had problems? Do you know?
Which rapper?
Which rapper?
That's popular and he's got hit songs out, or he's
plenty of hit songs, a lot of hit songs, 2 decades worth of hit songs.
Did 50 eventually hire him to be an actor on the show?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So there's a beef. Okay, there's a beef. Okay. I'm gonna guess. Who would be that foolish to do that? I'm not sure.
Let me give it to you while you think.
Okay. Who?
None other than Rick Ross. If you remember the song, they call me Big Meats. Larry Hoover put in work. Yeah, so that track that Rick Rose made back, I want to say 2006, 2007, during that time, he claimed that they called him Big Meats, which he was giving, as Rick Rose say, celebration of props to Demetrius Flannery, because he knew about BMF before they popped and everything went crazy across the country. So Rick Ross, they call me Big Meats. That track, if you listen to it, he describes all this stuff, and that was a decade before 50 even came up with this series.
Rick Ross.
Ricky Rose.
Yeah, so I hate that I'm doing a whole bunch of research on other things that are outside of what we usually talk about that I don't like to talk about here. I got nothing good to say right now about Rick, so we're gonna keep it pushing. You ain't got nothing good to say. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing at all. But at this time, we go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back.
Are you a small business owner looking to grow? Introducing the KeySpot mobile app. I'm Cynthia McAllister, owner of the IT company Quality SAT. Since 2016, we have been supporting small businesses and help them promote and share their businesses, services, and events across the country. KeySpot is more than just an app. We are a network providing community. KeySpot, connecting communities and supporting small businesses.
All right, I got a chance to see. I'm trying to see if I can go ahead and bring up the WNBA part that I saw. This is inside the games.biz, and it looks like that particular article is not being found.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, did they take it down that quick? Wow.
I don't think they did, because it's a TV commercial.
Oh, well, see, here's the thing. I don't know what TV commercial it's on. I'm sitting here trying to bring it up.
It ran on CBS this morning.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Correct.
Well, the website that I literally just tried, it is the inside the games.
I would type in different. I would type in WNBA "We're Out" commercial. That's how I would type it in.
I did that, and I was trying to bring it up. Okay, here we go. WNBA entering a new era as player union withdraws from CBA. Okay. Yep. All right.
That's
and right. So I think this is showing on Instagram. That's what it is. It's showing up on Instagram. And so, okay, I'll do this. I can't. Let me see if I go ahead and let's see if I can share this. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. Is this the commercial you were talking about?
Yep. That's the commercial.
We're out. Okay. All right. It's business. Okay. Wow. Okay. Because it's on Instagram and we're currently streaming on Instagram, I can't unmute the site because it'll cause an issue.
I got you. Yeah, don't worry.
Streaming on that. But I wanted to at least, I wanted to at least share it and check it out. And thank you so much, Mr. Springer, for putting that article in the chat for us. Now, over the weekend, some of us was over in Cleveland. Some of us were over in Cleveland. Long live rock. I think that's what it says in the beginning of it. This is the outside of the hall of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's nice.
Isn't that beautiful? I don't know how they got that scenery, whatever. But we have a lot of folks that were recently inducted into, and we call it the class of 2024. So you see a couple of folks, Peter Frampton, Kool and the Gang, Ozzy Osbourne, A Tribe Called Quest, Foreigner, Dave Matthews Band, Cher, and Mary J. Blige. That's not everybody, but that's definitely a few. Thank you so much for that.
And
So what
Cher is
do
the
you think
oldest one.
of this class that you see?
I love them, and I'm gonna have to holler at Cher because she still got it.
If I could turn back time.
Man,
Woo.
Cher still got it. Cher, I don't know if I was stuck in a closet with her or Dolly Parton, which one I have to look. No, I don't even know. I'm just be like, forget it. I'm just gonna holler at them both. But all I can get is a no.
I'm sitting here like, oh my goodness, but it was good. Now, some people performed their songs, like I think Cher, and this was it. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame event aired and streamed live on, I think, ABC. But right now, it's only available. If you want to see it, it's only available now on Disney Plus. I thought I could see it on Hulu, but they don't have it on Hulu.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes. So some people performed and other people didn't. It was kind of like a back and forth. So I was just really excited to see some of the folks that did their thing. So here's the full list of folks that were inducted, and of course Jimmy Buffett, writers. You know, it's always good to see writers. MC5, Susan DePass, that's Motown's queen who brought the Jackson 5, the Temptations, all of these wonderful folks to Motown back in the day. Big Mama Thornton, she's known in blues. Dionne Warwick, who became very popular on Twitter because of her granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And
I saw
Norman
her in the crowd up there.
Whitfield.
She was up there jamming. I saw her jamming in the crowd.
Yeah, so that's kind of the thing that's happening. Kool and the Gang got inducted in there, and so James JT Taylor, who is not Kool, that's Robert Kool Bell. He's the actual leader of Kool and the Gang, and he's the bassist. He's not the lead. He's the bassist. So there's a song that they got very famous for in the 70s called Summer Madness. Now a lot of people know
Madness. And y'all better, I ain't talking about Will Smith remix of Summer Madness either. I'm talking about the original Summer Madness, which is ridiculous. And Val, they are one of the only groups that stayed together as a group from the 70s.
Right. And I feel like there were a couple of groups that survived I want to call it the disco crush of the 70s.
Yes,
you know how disco got dissed?
Yeah. Hey, in Chicago, in Comiskey Park, 1978, 79, the burnout of the disco records in the outfield. I remember that.
So, because I think with Kool and the Gang, they had Celebration and a few other songs that were popular. But then they started to do this music that was strictly, I want to call it adult contemporary FM 100. Joanna, I love you. Like that's a you're the one for me. They had
to make some weird music.
Oh, and then my other favorite was Cherish the Love We Had. Yeah. We should cherish the love we had.
But you know, Val, I think that at that time, if I'm not mistaken, I think they were doing it because their biggest competitor was Lionel Richie, who had just bounced from the Commodores. And Lionel was making ballads. And I think JT always thought he was a ballad singer any freaking way without leaving Kool and the Gang. And I think they were trying to hit those same time to kind of combat what Lionel was doing as a single artist.
Right. So they had there was a lot of songs that hit the adult contemporary, and then in the 70s they just, like we mentioned, Summer Madness. That was 1974 from their album Light of the Worlds. And then of course the one that was the adult contemporary, another one was Oh, it's too hot. Too hot, baby.
Too hot. Better run for cover. You better get it, man. What? Man, you better don't get me on that disco kick. You know better than that. I'm running that and putting some bell bottoms and a hat on.
Let's go dancing. Ooh la la la. Da 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 dun dun
That
dun.
was it.
Reggae
That was
dancing.
it.
Ooh la la la.
I forgot about that. But hey, my jam of all was "It's as late as night and the feeling's right."
Yes.
I said it's
Oh,
late as night. Oh, what a night.
oh,
Oh,
what a
what
night.
a night. Yeah, that
There
was,
was
oh,
a
this so
viral
late.
video that went
Man,
out.
that
There
was
was
a
a
cut.
viral video that went out where they were performing and they were at that part. This is your night tonight.
Tonight,
Everything's gonna be
everything gonna be
all right. You saw Michael
different.
Jackson in the audience, like singing all the words and like really into it. And I was
Oh
like, when
man, I
was
would love
this?
to see that. I would
Oh
love
my
to see
gosh.
that. Oh,
I gotta look for it or whatever. But I don't, like I said, their music touches so many generations of people.
let's
And like I
all
said, it was really good.
celebrate. That was the when I say they and Val, they were in the time that groups, and listen to me, young guys that's out here singing, I love y'all to death, trust me. But they were in the time that you physically had to play an instrument. So the trombones and the percussions and whatever you heard was from an instrument. And they were battling against the Commodores, right? Barry White, Teddy
Earth, Wind, and
Pendergrass,
Fire.
right? Come on, Earth, Wind, and Fire. My boy who just passed, Frankie Beverly and Maid. Honestly, brother, I
Mhm.
can keep going on. War. All those was right here, including some Foreigner and these other guys you were talking about who was there, Dave Matthews Band, the original ones. They were all still there. So this was an era of music that I think if you capture that, especially on vinyl, you got one.
Exactly. Questlove was there. That's cool. Robert Cool Bell, but Questlove was there to, I guess, help play with other folks. And then Cher came, and of course, she had some folks perform with her as well. But Ozzy Osbourne in that shot, you got Mary J. Blige, you got Cher, and then you have Q-Tip from a tribe called Quest. Guess who presented their award to them on Saturday night?
Who was that?
Comedian, none
Oh, yeah.
other than
Dave Chappelle.
there you go. There you
He
go. Oh
was
my
clowning.
gosh.
He was clowning.
This is Peter Frampton with Kevin Urban. He's in his 70s. He said he didn't think he was going to make it, but he made it because he was very popular in the late 60s, early 70s.
Yep.
That's a little bit before my time.
Yeah, me too. But
And
I'm
of course,
still a music
Dionne
guy. I know
Warwick.
it. There she
Dionne
go.
Warwick. Yes, she performed alongside of Jennifer Hudson, and they did "That's What Friends Are For," which that was
Oh man.
a bunch of folks. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it was
I
she's
remember that. That was
82.
the old Michael Jackson crew that did that.
Well, Michael, no, that was Elton John. That was
Yeah,
Gladys Knight, Elton John,
Michael.
Dionne Warwick, and
Wasn't
who
Michael in
was
that?
Michael was not in that.
Oh, I thought
No.
Michael was in
Oh,
that
and Stevie
video.
Wonder. Stevie Wonder did the harmonica on that song.
Yeah, yeah.
And then who led it off was Dionne Warwick. Yeah.
That was old school
Mhm,
Farm Aid. That was the old Farm Aid for those that remember Farm Aid. That was old Farm Aid song.
mhm. Yeah. Now, of course, when A Tribe Called Quest, they didn't perform, but they had kind of the who's who. Wait a minute. Let me stop sharing. What is this on your shirt? Who is this?
That's it.
The
Tribe Called
Peanuts?
Quest. Hey, look at the third one, the fourth one down. Tribe
Okay,
Called Quest.
I can't really read that. What is that? B Nuts,
Tribe
Public
Called
Enemy. Yeah. You know
Ice
the way
Cube and Tribe Called Quest.
the way my glasses work, baby. I got
There you go.
to lean in so I can see that.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
would have been cool if you took a picture of it and could have sent it to me, and I could have blown it up for everybody because you know how
Man.
the way my
Hey,
glasses
every
work.
time I have this shirt on, whether I'm in the airport walking, I get somebody stop me and say, "Man, that's a cold shirt." Because if you know old school music like this, that's the low end theory. That's the low end theory. Come on now.
Now, I don't know where your album is, but this is my CD. So this is Midnight Marauder. Do we have the same album? Oh my gosh.
Hey, that's why I love you, my sister, because We knew good music back then. This is Midnight Marauder right here. Right here. And I got Low End Theory. But this album, one of the top 10 albums ever to come out in the rap history, of rap, and was Tribe Called Quest album. You know, you got that
Oh
Bonita
my
Applebum.
goodness.
Go ahead. Bugging Out on there, all that stuff. I mean, man, I'm on a world tour with my Mike and my man. Come on now. Don't get
Oh
me
yeah,
started.
that's on this one too. I think my other favorite electric relax
Oh,
yourself, girl.
yeah. But you know
That
what I
was my
like?
plan.
Is when they start the album and he said, Tribe Called Quest is made up of 4 guys. And he introduced everybody. That was dope. And then it went
Right.
into it. Oh my God, that was it.
Now it was kind of the who's who on Saturday night who performed, which was really cool. You had Busta Rhymes, of course. You heard Scenario. You had Black Thought
Here we go,
from the Roots. You had Black
Yep.
Thought from the Roots. Common,
Common,
Queen
Bonita
Latifah.
Applebum.
Yes. It was kind of like almost like the who's who that was kind of paying them tribute. So you kind of saw Q-Tip in the audience kind of like say
But
thank you so
my
very
favorite,
much.
Queen
What's your favorite?
Latifah, who kicked it off because she was the only freaking female that they invited, and she spit it off the rack.
Oh
Come on, man.
wow.
Come on, you gonna do it? Let's do it right. Because she could have bust out and jumped on. She could have got on stages and did like this. UNITY. UNITY. That's a unity, man. She could have came out like that.
But wasn't Queen Moni Love? Who was it?
In the middle.
Yeah, no, De La
Moni in the
Soul.
middle.
Weren't they all a part of Native Tongues?
Yeah, they was all part of Native Tongue together. And Busta Rhymes, and Busta Rhymes was with them guys because Busta was with the leaders of the new. For some of y'all, I'm teaching some old school to y'all right now. Busta Rhymes was with leaders of the new school. When he first came out, that's why he jumped in Scenario, and Busta spit Scenario with them on Low End Theory, and they saw how talented he was, and that's why Busta jumped out and ended up being a solo artist. So you go back and you Google leaders of the new school, you will find those hit tracks, and Busta Rhymes was part of that group.
Now, another one of my favorites, Mary J. Blige, she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She actually performed about 3 or 4 of her songs. She did my favorite, Be Happy. And also she did the remix of Love Without a Limit. I was, she kind of did her dance or whatever. And I was like,
she takes that dance, don't she?
She be cracking me up with that. I'm like, represent the 50-year-old. Come on, girl.
She gonna get the 2-step in. Hey, she gonna get that in for sure.
Yeah, but her performance, because there was a few people that did perform, and then there was some people that didn't perform. Tribe Called Quest didn't perform. They had other folks perform their music with them. But I really had a great time checking out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee. So if you guys want to check out the full award show, it is available only on Disney Plus. I was a little. I was checking to make sure that I didn't take anything specifically from what is this ABC Disney. The mouse don't play, so I had to.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, Val. If you really want to watch a great show, you will have to probably tune in to BET, because BET is going to probably give the Tribe Called Quest one hell of a celebration. After the award show, BET comes back.
BET Hip Hop Awards. The BET Hip Hop Awards ready to happen.
They're gonna crush it. They're gonna crush it for the tribe. And that's one thing I love it. We get on other people's show, we show out, right? But we get on our own show, we shows out.
Oh yeah, we do. We do. And like I said, I've been such a fan of a lot of the folks. Dave Matthews Band, they actually performed.
Love Dave Matthews.
Ozzy Osbourne did like one yell, and then other people performed. It wasn't just him with him.
Ozzy kind of sick anyway, so he just on the meds right now, so he good.
But like I said, this was really an exciting time, and so people flew in to Cleveland to pay homage to these inductees. So congratulations to the rock and roll class of 2024. And like I said, thank you so much for that, Mr. Springer, for putting that rockhall.com/2024 inductees. You guys go to that website and you'll be able to see all the pictures and all the folks that were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Oh my goodness.
Al, can you imagine on that list that you just shown? Could you imagine if you could just go back and take the number one hit of all time of each of those artists, those 8, just the number one hit, and put them on an album? Oh my God. Because that'll be from R&B to rock, right? To rap, to hip hop, to contemporary, to country. I mean, that would be just ridiculous. And they would all be number one smash hits.
And I think Cher has charted in every decade from the 60s to the 2000s.
Yes, what they said. That's exactly why I would kick it with her. She got some mileage on it, man. Hey, I'm like, hey, Cher.
It doesn't look like there's mileage. She's
I'm talking
timeless.
up here. I'm talking about up here. She timeless. She timeless everywhere else. But up here, she got that mileage in her head. I can sit back. I'm gonna be walking around with my notebook pad. Okay.
And then, of course, one of my favorite songs from Foreigner was "I Want to Know What Love Is." So they wrote a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that was a jam. Tony. Hey, I got you, girl. I got you.
Oh my gosh. What's coming up next week? Of course, we're going more and more into the sports, but it is the Pull Up Podcast Show with your boy, Coach Tony Thompson. We got some more sports things happening. Yes.
Working on a couple of more guests, more surprises for you. I got a list of good guests. I'm trying to leave them as a surprise. They come up. But I want to thank you guys for continuing to check out the show. It's been great. I've been picking up more and more people subscribing. Didn't even know I had that, Val. I picked up another 10 or 15 people this weekend. I was at a basketball camp. My guy, TB, I know you're on right now down in Memphis. What's up, baby? So he checks out the podcast, and I told him to check out the show tonight. And I appreciate it. And he got his people doing it. So, man, just, continue to share this show. Continue to like us. Continue to push it out. I'm on the Pull Up Podcast Show on Monday nights. We're doing a lot of things sports related. And I also help you out because I give you out those for promotional purposes only, a couple picks. And if you listen to those picks, you can pay off a couple car notes, every now and then.
The platforms of the Pull Up Podcast Show and Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesday does not necessarily support those of gambling purposes, but it's for entertainment purposes and promotional purposes only.
Only. So make sure you got, and that's a capital ONLY. Apostrophe.
Because if you lose something based on what we told you, that's
don't be calling me, because I don't even answer unknown number. Who is this calling? Who?
Oh my gosh. So make sure you check out on 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern on Mondays. We're in the second season with the Pull Up Podcast Show. And of course, a DJ Save My Life. It's the book, the ebook. It is written by your girl, Val the Voice Johnson. So of course, you guys go ahead and check it on out. We're doing our thing. Pick up your copy at purelightHousemedia.net. And of course, you guys are supporting the platform when you go ahead and get this. And of course, there is merch. I meant to have on my t-shirt because there's t-shirts, tote bags, and mugs. I got to send you a mug too because I just finished getting the mugs for
so I could be up on the show drinking out of my mug. I got this tea I like to drink. So I need to put up in the mug.
Exactly. Want to make sure that you do that, of course. And of course, if you would like to learn how to get started on doing your podcast, or if you'd like to check out some of the background scenes that we have, that's happened on patreon.com/interludes. More stuff is getting up there as much as possible. So of course, I think I just uploaded my comedy routine. So that wasn't released for the masses. So that's only on Patreon. If
I
you
forgot
are,
you were doing a little comedy. I meant to ask you that
I'm returning.
a while back.
I'm returning to my comedy roots. I was asked by my church here in Chicago to do something for New Year's Eve, so I am getting my comedy chops together, and I'm gonna start back doing, what do you call that? Open mics again. So yeah,
Man, see, I do that, but you know, you got to find me in the nightclub, but my comedy will put you out in the backyard. You know what I'm saying? I think my shout out to my granddaughter Skylar Wilson, her little 7-year-old self. I think she's gonna be the comedian in the family. She is funny. She really funny.
oh okay, well,
Yeah,
that's what's up.
Yeah.
All right,
Man,
well,
it's been a
it's
great show,
another
man.
edition.
Great show.
I know, another edition of Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesday. I will be checking out BMF. I got to make sure I tune in with stars. And of course, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you on next week on the Pull Up Podcast Show. And then come back and join us on Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesday. But as we love to say to you guys, we're out.
Peace.
Peace.